She vanished in 2002, found in 2008. But what was missing wasn't just one woman, 7 women, 7 cars, a single smiley face drawn in dust. The cassette tape inside revealed a 6-year secret. When Mason Morgan heard his sister's final words, he realized everything had been wrong from the start. And in that moment, he learned the most dangerous lie is the one hidden behind a smile. June 21st, 2002, Phoenix, Arizona. The sun was melting asphalt even at 10 a.m. Heat waves shimmered across the street. When Danielle Morgan, 23, grabbed the metal door handle, the heat burned her palm. Keys jingled. From the kitchen came the sound of her brother Mason crunching cereal with a spoon. "Where are you going?" "Coffee with Clay." Danielle's voice came out casual, but her fingers gripped the purse strap too tight. "I'll be back in an hour." "Clay." Mason set down his spoon. No accusation in his voice, just curiosity. "Didn't you two break up?" Danielle shrugged, but her eyes didn't meet Mason's. 3 months ago. We're trying to stay friends." Mason nodded but narrowed his eyes. He'd never felt good about Clay. The way he checked his sister's phone, how his face tensed when she talked to other men. Clay Harold had seemed perfect at first. Wide smile, warm handshake, auto mechanic, the honest worker type. But Danielle had noticed over time, when he looked at her, eye contact lasted too long. When she didn't respond to messages, coldness crept into his voice. And when she ended it in March, Clay kept smiling. "I understand," he'd said. "You need time. We all do." But his eyes didn't smile. "We're meeting at Sunrise Cafe," Danielle said, her voice a bit too cheerful, trying to convince herself. "Crowded place. It'll be fine." Mason looked at her. 6 years later, he'd remember that look, worried but afraid to ask. "Text me when you get there." "Okay." Danielle smiled, a real smile, unlike Clay's. She closed the door. Mason sat alone in the kitchen. The cereal had gone soggy. Outside, Danielle's Camaro engine started familiar rumble. Then it faded away. 6 years later, Mason would sit at that same kitchen table, look out that same window, and realize he'd never hear Danielle's engine again. That was the last time Mason saw his sister. By noon, Danielle hadn't returned. Mason texted, "Where are you? Back yet?" No response. 2 p.m., he called, straight to voicemail. 4 p.m. Their mother Claire was calling hospitals. Her hands trembled around the phone. 6 p.m., police station, cold fluorescent lights, plastic chairs, forms to fill out. Officer Reynolds, thick mustache, tired eyes, pulled out his notepad. 23 years old, you said?" "Yes," Claire said. The edge of her voice came out sharp, mother's instinct. "Meeting her ex-boyfriend?" "Yes, but..." Reynolds set his pen on the desk. The gesture said, "Don't worry," but his eyes said this has happened before. Toned at 24 hours. Young adults sometimes make spontaneous decisions. Maybe they went somewhere. "She would have called," Claire insisted. According to reports, Mason showed Reynolds his phone. On the screen, Danielle's last message glowed. 0947, leaving now. Wish me luck, lol. The phone screen was blurred with Mason's fingerprints from checking it for 6 hours. "Did she make it to the cafe?" Reynolds asked. Mason called Sunrise Cafe. In the background, coffee machine hissing. The manager said no, they hadn't seen anyone like that this morning. "What about the ex-boyfriend?" "We tried calling him. No answer." Reynolds took notes. "We'll follow up. She'll probably call tonight wondering what the fuss is about." She didn't call that night, or the next day, ever. 48 hours later, the investigation began. According to records, Clay Harold claimed he hadn't heard from Danielle, said he'd been working at his auto shop. His assistant confirmed it. "I haven't talked to Danielle in weeks." Clay's voice came out smooth, rehearsed. Phone records showed no calls between them, no texts, no contact. The black Camaro had vanished. No toll charges, no parking tickets, no traffic camera footage. Weeks became months. Leads evaporated. The calendar in Danielle's room still showed June 2002. A dust-free circle marked the date, drawn in pen. Clay, coffee. In September 2002, according to reports, the case went cold. Mason was 16. He returned to school but couldn't focus. When teachers spoke, voices sounded like they came from underwater. Nights were worse. "Text me," I said. "Did she text?" "Did I check right away?" Would it have helped if I'd driven her to the cafe? 6 years. Same questions. Every day, every night, no answers, until a $150 storage auction changed everything. Mason was now 22, community college student, part-time construction work. He hadn't stopped searching for Danielle, but didn't know how to search anymore. Every Saturday, he drove Danielle's route home to Sunrise Cafe. 23 minutes, stopped at red lights, radio off, just engine hum and his own breathing. Found nothing. Nothing changed. Then a man named Vincent Palmer bought a storage unit. Vincent was 53, made his living buying abandoned storage units. "I'm a trash picker," he'd tell friends. "But sometimes I find gold." May 2008, Secure Store Phoenix, Unit 217. Rusted metal door, faded number on top, 2117. The facility manager cut the lock. Metal screeched sharply. When the door rolled up, stale air rushed out. Enclosed, humid, old. At first it looked empty. Then Vincent saw the tarp. The fabric was thick, heavy, military grade. When he pulled it, dust clouds rose. Underneath, a black Camaro, 1997 model. The dust layer was so thick, Vincent drew a line with his finger. Black paint gleamed underneath. He checked the plate, wrote down the number. Then he noticed two things. First, the bullet hole in the hood. The metal around the hole bent inward, shot from outside in. Deliberate. Second, a face drawn in the dust. Two circle eyes, curved line mouth, smile. But what froze Vincent's blood was how fresh the dust was. The dust around the smiley face was lighter, cleaner. Someone had drawn this within the last few weeks. Vincent pulled out his phone. His hands were shaking. 911, what's your emergency? I found a car. Might be missing. And there's a bullet hole. Phoenix PD ran the plates, according to records registered to Danielle Morgan, missing since 2002. When Detective Sarah Chen opened the file, 6 years of dust lifted. Chen specialized in cold cases, 8 years in this work. She'd solved things that seemed unsolvable, but 6 years in a storage unit. She picked up the phone, read the number from the file. "Mrs. Morgan, this is Detective Sarah Chen, Phoenix PD. We found your daughter's car." Silence, then breathing catching, then crying. That morning, Mason was in Danielle's room. Claire wanted to sell it. It had been 6 years, but Mason wasn't ready yet. He held Danielle's pillow. The scent was gone now, lavender detergent and her perfume. Memory wasn't as powerful as smell. The phone rang. Claire's voice. "Mason," trembling. "The police called." In the Secure Store parking lot, Mason stared at the crime scene tape. He was 22 now. His face had hardened. The softness of the 16-year-old boy was gone. 6 years of grieving did that to you. The facility building had peeling stucco, beige-colored. The parking lot was full of cracks. Standard Phoenix, old, cheap, forgotten. Chen showed him photos. Dusty Camaro, keys in the ignition, hanging there for 6 years. Interior clean, too clean. No blood, no obvious violence, but Chen zoomed in. Rear window, letters scratched into the tint. Hastily, with something, key, fingernail, written, "Help." Claire covered her mouth with her hands, couldn't stand. Mason held her. Mason's voice was a whisper. She was alive when the car was left here. Chen nodded. According to allegations, the scratches show signs of distress, but the timeline made everything worse. According to records, the storage unit was rented in June 2002, 3 days after Danielle disappeared. 3-year cash payment up front, $1,800, fake name John Smith, fake ID. In 2005, when the rent expired, the facility sent notices. No response. Auctioned in 2008. Who drew the smiley face? Claire asked. Chen showed the photo again. Dust pattern suggests within the last month. Someone accessed the unit even though it was abandoned. Someone had come to check on the car 6 years later. Why? Mason quietly. Maybe whoever put the car there came back. Or, Chen carefully, someone else found it first and left us a message. Chen's voice was flat, but her eyes said something else. This is darker. The answer was waiting in the glove compartment, and what was inside would break 6 years of silence. The forensics team processed the Camaro for 3 days. What they found would change everything and reveal the fate of 7 other women. Bullet hole, .38 caliber. The ballistics expert examined the metal around it. Fired into the engine block. Didn't target the driver's side. This is a disable, not attempted murder. Interior, chemical cleaner smell. A smell that shouldn't come from a 6-year-old vehicle. Wiped, professionally. Fingerprints, only Danielle's, nothing else. Trunk, empty. Even the spare tire had been removed. But the glove compartment, the latch was broken, forced. The forensic technician opened it using a screwdriver, metal squealed. Inside, Mason held his breath. Wedged behind papers, a cassette tape recorder, 1990s model, Sony. The batteries were dead. When Mason saw the device, his knees trembled. Danielle loved these kinds of things, old technology. Digital doesn't feel secure, she'd say. The forensics team replaced the batteries. Detective Chen pressed play. Static. Then, Danielle's voice. 6 years later. Alive. Test. Okay. Recording. In the background, engine hum. Radio slightly on. An unidentifiable song. June 24. Morning. Going to meet Clay. Pause. Breath. Something feels off. His recent messages too intense. Mason told me to trust my gut. Recording this just in case. Driving sounds. Gear shifting. Turn signal. Almost at Sunrise Cafe. Clay's truck is there. Okay. Deep breath. Just coffee. Crowded place. It'll be fine. Car stop. Engine off. Door open. Footsteps. On asphalt. Clay. Hey, you're early too. Male voice. Soft. Yeah. Hey, can we talk in your car for a minute before we go into the cafe? Bit more private. Danielle hesitating. Sure. Doors closing. 2 people in a confined space. A few seconds of silence. Then, scuffle. Something knocked over. Danielle breathless. What are you doing? Stop. Get your hands off. Clay's voice, angry but controlled. You should have stayed away, Danny. Just should have stayed away. Fighting sounds. Hitting. Danielle trying to scream, but the sound is muffled. Mason closed his eyes, but the tape continued. Silence. Engine still running. Different male voice. Calm. Older. She out. Clay, breathless. Yeah. God, she fought hard. Second voice. Give her another dose. Don't let her wake up. Take her car. I'll follow in the truck. The spot's ready. You sure? Maybe? Clay. The second voice hardened. That's the plan. You take the car. I follow. 20 minutes and she'll be completely secure. Engine sounds. Radio changing. Clay switching stations. Driving. 15 minutes of recording. Just engine and radio. Then stop. Engine off. Door opening. Footsteps fading. 30 seconds of complete silence. Tape ends. Click. Mason listened 3 times, until Chen gently took the tape away while he sat with arms wrapped around his chest, shaking, barely holding back tears. Chen sent the recording to an FBI voice specialist. 48 hours later, results came. According to allegations, first voice, 94% match, Clay Harold, existed in voice recognition database. His statement had been recorded during the 2002 investigation. Second voice, unknown. But according to analysis, male, 40-55 years old, Arizona accent, tobacco user, slight vocal cord damage. Clay wasn't working alone, Chen said, briefing Mason and Claire. The spot's ready. They had a location prepared beforehand. This was planned, organized. But why? Claire's voice broke. Chen spread files on the table. 7 photographs. 7 young women, all 23-29 years old. Under each, date and status. Sarah Brennan, 26, missing. March 2004. Jennifer Martinez, 24, missing. September 2003. Patricia Wong, 27, missing. January 2006. Emily Chen, 29, missing August 2005. All these women disappeared in Phoenix. All were last seen near Harold's custom paint and body, near Clay's auto shop. Mason looked at the photos. They all looked like Danielle, young, independent, full of life. According to records, we examined Clay's financial records, Chen continued. There's a disturbing pattern. She showed financial documents. Insurance claims for each missing woman's vehicle, all marked stolen, filed 3-6 months after their disappearances. Total payout, $340,000. According to allegations, Clay was running insurance fraud. Target selection worked like this: young women buying expensive cars, living alone or with weak family ties, meaning their disappearances wouldn't be noticed immediately. After they disappeared, he'd wait a few months, then file vehicle stolen reports. Insurance company pays out, money gets split. Mason felt sick. My sister was killed for car insurance. Chen hesitated. According to allegations, yes, but it wasn't just about money. Clay was also after control. He wanted to punish Danielle for leaving him. Chen showed the smiley face photo. 2 theories. 1, Clay came back to check on the car, drew it as a signature, "I'm still in control" message. 2nd theory, someone had been watching this unit for years and left us a message, "Look here." Mason's heart raced. Who's that person? We don't know yet, but within 24 hours a name would emerge, and that name would blow the conspiracy wide open. May 29, 2008. Clay Harold's world began to collapse, but the real shock was yet to come. 6 a.m., SWAT team raided Clay Harold's house, door-breaking sound, shouting, "On the ground, hands behind your back," red laser pointers dancing on walls. Clay sat up in bed, hands raised. He wasn't surprised, calm, as if he'd been expecting this. "You have an arrest warrant," his voice flat. "We do." Chen showed the papers. "Kidnapping, murder, insurance fraud." Clay smiled. "I want a lawyer." Interrogation room, gray walls, metal table, 2 chairs. Clay sat comfortably, legs crossed. "I didn't kill her," his first words. "That tape, not what it sounds like." "Then what?" Chen turned on the recorder. "Misunderstanding." Danielle panicked. "I was trying to calm her down. Got a bit physical, but I did it for her safety. And then you took her home." "Yes." No hesitation. "Then why was her car in a storage unit?" Clay's eyes narrowed slightly for the first time. "I don't know. Maybe someone stole it after I dropped her off." "The tape recording has you administering drugs." Clay's smile trembled. "Lawyer, I want one." The interrogation stopped. But while Clay waited in his cell, another team was tearing his life apart. Harold's custom paint and body, 10:30 a.m. From the outside, it looked legitimate. 3 cars on lifted ramps, paint booths, tool wall organized. But in Clay's office, behind the filing cabinet, a metal safe bolted to the wall. Detectives opened it with a torch. Inside, 7 driver's licenses, 7 women, Danielle's on top, filled out insurance forms. In Clay's handwriting, dates blank, waiting to be filled in, and a notebook, handwritten. Chen turned the pages. Each page, a name, a car, a value, a status. Danielle Morgan, June 21st, 2002, black Camaro 97, value $18,000, status, disposed, claim pending. Sarah Brennan, March 14th, 2004, blue Honda Civic, value $15,000, status stored, unit 7, claim filed $15,500. Jennifer Martinez, September 19th, 2003, red Toyota Corolla, value $14,000, status stored, unit 223, claim pending. Patricia Wong, January 11th, 2006, gray Nissan Altima, value $16,500, status stored, unit 89, claim not filed. 7 names, 3 disposed, 4 stored. Chen's blood froze. 4 cars still stored, and if the cars are stored, on the last page of the notebook, a phone number, above it, 1 word, partner. Chen ran the number, Matthew Cole, 47, Cole Security Solutions, Storage Facility Management. Search warrant for Matthew's house, 2:20 p.m. When they knocked, he wasn't ready to run. On the contrary, he was at his computer, screen open, email program. "Deleting messages?" the detective asked. Matthew's fingers still frozen on the keyboard. I was just, hands up, now." They seized the laptop, took Matthew away. FBI cybercrime unit worked for 18 hours, recovered deleted emails. Chen read the report, 456 emails, between Clay Harold and Matthew Cole, 2002-2008. Examples: package ready for delivery, Unit 4112 prepared, access code 4782, payment as planned. June 24th, 2002, 11:47 p.m. Delivery complete, package secure, maintenance schedule will begin. Weekly visits. August 13th, 2005, 8:15 a.m. Urgent, Unit 7 ventilation failure, needs checking. March 17th, 2004, 2:03 p.m. Problem solved, package no longer viable, disposal procedure initiated. March 22th, 2004, 9:30 a.m. According to records, package was code for women. No longer viable meant dead. As Chen read the emails, her stomach turned. This wasn't just for money, this was like an industry. Matthew asked for a lawyer. 3 days of negotiations. Prosecution offered. Life versus 12 years. Evidence was overwhelming. Emails, financial transfers, rentals under fake names. Matthew's lawyer read the agreement. Whispered to his client. Day 3, Matthew talked. Hands shaking, age in his voice like he'd aged 10 years. I'll give 4 addresses. What's in them? Chen asked. I don't know, his eyes averted, lying. Clay handled it. I just provided access. Your emails mentioned packages and maintenance. You knew. Matthew stayed silent. Finally, haven't checked in years. Maybe they're still, I don't know. He wrote down 4 addresses. Pen trembled on paper. Before handing them over, he added, if any are still alive, sorry isn't enough, I know. 20 minutes later, 4 SWAT teams mobilized. What they'd find would give Mason the most painful truth of 6 years. Because sometimes answers hurt more than questions. 4 teams, 4 facilities, 4 sealed units. One of Phoenix PD's most devastating operations was about to begin. 6:47 p.m. Simultaneous raid. Secure Store East, Unit 412. Chen led. Mason insisted on coming. Chen allowed it, but stay back. Metal door rolled up, squeaking. Enclosed air but fresh, ventilation had been running. Inside, modified storage, soundproofing, ceiling fan, furniture, bed, food wrappers, and in the corner, a woman, on the bed, alive, blinking against the light, covering her eyes with her arms. Is he gone? Her voice cracked, unused. Clay, is he gone? Chen approached slowly, hands visible, non-threatening. Yes, he's gone. You're safe. I'm Detective Chen, Phoenix Police. Emily Chen, 29, missing since August 2005, 3 years in a storage unit. Westside Storage Unit 7. When the door opened, the smell hit. Decay, chemical, detectives put on masks. Inside, same setup, bed, furniture, but a body. According to allegations, Sarah Brennan, dead approximately 4 years. Autopsy later determined ventilation failure, asphyxiation. Desert Lock, Unit 23. Jennifer Martinez, missing 5 years ago. Remains, clothing fragments. Medical report. Dehydration, starvation. Clay had stopped bringing food. Central Storage, Unit 89. Patricia Wong, missing 2 years ago. Body, medicine bottles nearby, but wrong medication. Pneumonia untreated. Mason stood outside Unit 412 while paramedics treated Emily. 4 units, 1 survivor, 3 dead. Mason leaned against the wall. His knees gave out. He slowly slid down, sitting on the ground. 1 alive. Just 1, not my sister. When Emily was stable, Mason approached her. My sister, he said quietly. Danielle Morgan, were you with her? Emily's eyes filled with tears. Her hands gripped the blanket. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Was she here? 3 days. The first 3 days she was with me. Emily's voice broke. She was incredible. She kept trying to escape. Every time Clay came with food, she'd attack him. She taught me to stay strong. Don't let him win, she'd say. Never give up. Mason couldn't breathe. But Clay, Emily hesitated. He said she was too problematic. Said I was endangering myself too. Day 3, he took her. Said he was moving her to a more secure location. I never saw her again. Mason's voice was a whisper. Where did he take her? Emily shook her head. She didn't know. Faced with 1 living witness and 3 bodies, Clay Harold's mask fell. Chen brought photos to the interrogation room. Sarah's body, Jennifer's skeleton, Patricia's remains, spread them on the table, said nothing. Clay looked, swallowed. For the first time, his hands trembled. 3 women died because of you. You left them to rot. His lawyer intervened. My client, Clay spoke over his lawyer. I didn't want them to die. His voice broke, confidence gone. The insurance money was supposed to be quick. File, collect, forget. But investigations dragged. Couldn't visit every unit. It got complicated. What about Danielle? Clay bowed his head, his voice barely audible. According to allegations, she wouldn't stop fighting. Every time. Attacking me. Using whatever she could find. I thought she'd hurt Emily. Get them both killed. He paused, eyes closed. June 24th, 2002. I brought food. Danielle had grabbed the screwdriver. I'd accidentally left it. She came at me. We fought. She fell, hit her head on concrete. Didn't move. No pulse. I panicked. Took her out in the middle of the night. Drove to desert property. Matthew helped us acquire through his company. Buried her. Chen, where? Clay gave GPS coordinates. A week later. Forensics team excavated. 40 miles from Phoenix. Desert. Endless dirt. Sparse shrubs. Merciless sun. Shovels entering dry earth. Wind blowing quietly. Air was hot, but Mason felt cold. Shallow grave. 6 years later, desert plants had covered it. Remains, clothing fragments, screwdriver remnant of her last resistance, still nearby. Medical examiner. Blunt head trauma. Death would have been instantaneous. Mason and Claire stood at the excavation site. They didn't speak. There were no words. Finally, Claire. She fought until she couldn't anymore. Mason nodded. No tears, none left. Just emptiness. The trials lasted 3 months. But when justice came, it felt hollow. Clay Harold. Guilty. 4 counts kidnapping, 3 counts negligent homicide, 1 count second-degree murder, 7 counts insurance fraud. Sentence, life without parole. Matthew Cole, guilty. Conspiracy, accessory after the fact. Sentence, 12 years. Eligible for parole after 8. According to records, Sarah, Jennifer, and Patricia's families filed wrongful death lawsuits. Settlements paid from Clay's seized assets. Emily Chen received $500,000, started a foundation for trafficking survivors. But for Mason, the real journey was just beginning. 1 year later, 2009, Mason stood at Danielle's grave, same desert, but this time there was a headstone. Danielle Marie Morgan, 1979, 2002, she fought. She survived in memory. The sun was setting, sky orange, pink, purple, wind blew gently, shrubs rustling, temperature dropping, desert nights were cold, dry earth, desert plants, clean air. Mason knelt, picked up a black stone, the kind Danielle used to collect as a child. You didn't let him win, he whispered. Footsteps. Emily approached. She looked stronger now. Hair had grown, life in her eyes. She came every month, brought flowers. The 3 days with your sister saved my life, Emily said. She crouched beside Mason. When Clay took her away, I wanted to give up. But I remembered Danielle's voice. Don't let him win. 3 years later, I was ready to die. Every time I heard Danielle. Mason nodded. The case led to federal legislation. According to records, storage facilities now require valid ID verification, health checks for ventilated units, mandatory reporting of suspicious long-term rentals, climate-controlled unit inspections. Danielle Morgan Act, passed in 2009. Mason became a missing persons advocate, worked with families nationwide. At a support group, I didn't choose this path. None of us did, but we choose what we build from tragedy. I searched for answers about my sister for 6 years. I found them, but she didn't come back. What I can do, keep her name alive, and help others wait less. But one question remained. Who really drew the smiley face? At trial, Vincent Palmer testified. When I saw the car, I was shocked. Took photos with my phone, shaking, nervous. When I leaned in to look at the bullet hole, my hand brushed the hood, left a fingerprint in the dust. When I looked at the photos later, it looked like a smiley face. Complete accident. I called police immediately. The smiley face wasn't mockery, wasn't a clue. It was chance. A smudge that looked meaningful but meant nothing. Sometimes the universe doesn't send messages. Sometimes a smudge is just a smudge. But the investigation that followed, that was real. That day, Mason learned, the biggest dangers come from the safest seeming places. Familiar face, successful business, just coffee message. This could happen to any of us. Danielle had done everything right, chose a crowded place, told her family, recorded her suspicions, but sometimes right moves aren't enough. What matters, people like Mason don't give up. Survivors like Emily raise their voices, and we all remember injustice thrives in darkness. Shining light is everyone's responsibility. The sun set, desert darkened, stars appeared. Mason and Emily sat at the grave. They didn't speak, no need. Wind carried dust over Danielle's grave. One woman saved. 3 found too late. 1 fought until she fell. Not the ending anyone wanted, but the truth. And in the end, that's all Mason had searched for 6 years. Truth, justice, memory, even if it hurt more than hope ever did. Emily Chen founded the Danielle Morgan Survivor Foundation in 2009. According to allegations, as of 2024, the foundation helped locate 43 missing individuals, provided support to 200-plus families, changed storage security laws in 12 states. If you or someone you know faces a missing persons case, National Center for Missing Children, 1-800-THE LOST, Danielle Morgan Foundation, danielle-morganfoundation.org. Remember, silence enables crime. If you see something, say something. 1 phone call can save a life.